everyone, so this video is going to be my end of July updates. So I'm going to start with my Ascocentrum miniatum, or rather what I used to think was a miniatum. So I did a bloom video on this plant and a viewer pointed out that this is more likely to be a garayi and not a miniatum because I guess on the miniatum the lip is more curved, and when I googled the miniatum, the orange coloring is a bit different, so I kind of agree with what he said, so I will be changing the label on this plant. Nonetheless, the blooms are really nice and I've been enjoying them. So this is my Aerides houlletiana, and the latest leaf has gotten a bit bigger and is actually wider than the previous leaves, at least these two. So it seems like this guy is growing pretty well. So this is my Vanda cristata, and this has gotten a lot bigger. I still think it's a flower spike, but it kind of looks like a new growth. I don't believe a new growth or a keiki would come from between the leaves, but we'll see. This is the latest leaf, and it still hasn't gotten much bigger, but I think it's because the energy is being focused on this one. So this is my Phal NOID, the sunset colors ones, and it's starting a new leaf right there in the middle. So this is my Ionocidum popcorn Haruri, and this middle growth has kind of like dried up a little bit, but the one in the back there, the newest one, seems to be growing a little bit. This guy is not a fast grower, I'd say. So this is my Brassavola cucullata red form, and there is a new growth at the bottom there. I said I was going to mount this, but I haven't gone around to doing that yet. So as mentioned in my last video, my Epidendrum ciliare, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, but nonetheless, it broke into 3 separate parts, and out of the 3 parts, the 2 smaller ones have had more activity than the bigger one. So this one has a new eye that's growing, like it's actively growing, so that's good. This one has root growth, so that's awesome. So this is my Dendrobium cruentum, and I've unpotted it from the lava rock, and the reason is because, as you've probably noticed, I haven't had much luck with getting any new growth on these. You can see that the new leaves tend to dry out, and I suspect it's because I don't have enough humidity. I want more success, so I've decided to just put it in a taller container with sphagnum moss, and once this gets going, if it's able to get going, then I might transfer it back to the lava rock. So one thing I changed this month is I converted my Vanda roeblingiana into water culture. I think it should do fine, especially with I don't know what this is called, but I think this will help hold a bit of moisture as opposed to being completely bare root. So I'm giving that a shot. So this is my Trichoglottis pusilla. I believe the last time I showed this plant, there was a brown splotch on this leaf here. I didn't want to cut the leaf off right away. I just wanted to see how that was going to progress. It hasn't progressed further in a sense that the size of the splotch is the same, and it seems to have dried out. The rest of the leaf seems to be drying out a little bit, but the rest of the plant isn't affected. So I think I'm just going to wait for that leaf to fall off. This is my DendrobiumCorinna Ferrum. The new growth has started finally to start growing. So this is my Dendrobium Christianum, and it appears to have a new growth or a new root starting. So this is my Chisis liminghay. There's not much to report other than it seems to be growing really, really well. A lot of roots are kind of poking out of the basket, which is a good sign. So this is my Galeotia fimbriata. There are 2 new growths and a flower spike, I think. So this is my Phalaenopsis javanica, and this new leaf is growing really nicely. It's nice and round. I also want to mention that it did actually bloom, and the reason I didn't capture it was because it never really opened properly. Now, javanica blooms don't open flat like most Phalaenopsis. They do stay slightly cupped, but the lip at least, I guess, falls down. It does open, and in my case, the bloom is there, but the lip never went down and it never opened a little bit. So that kind of sucks, but there's a flower spike and I'm sure it'll bloom again. So this is my Aerides flageolata. Ever since I moved it up here close to the light, it's gotten some purpling on the leaves. Not sure how I'm supposed to feel about that. I'm not worried currently, but I'm just unsure. Because I've heard that this guy needs a lot of bright light and the leaves will become a bit lighter. But in my case, it hasn't really gotten lighter, it's just purple now. This is my Chisis levis. I've been having trouble keeping this watered, and not just this, but anything in a basket or mounted, just because it's quite warm out now, and I also have the fans running, so that helps to dry things out. But I've been changing my watering schedule, I guess, a little bit, so I'm making more of an effort to do some of it in the morning. I usually water at night, but if I notice something is starting to dry out, then I'll try to water it in the morning or even the day before, because I usually, like I said before, I usually water at night. So if I think a basket will dry out the following evening, then that usually means it's probably going to dry out during the day and I just water it. But seems like these guys are doing kind of okay. This side looks terrible, but I'm just trying to keep this guy hydrated. So this is my RLC Village Chief North Green Genius, and this is the latest growth, and it looks like it's plumping up nicely, and the leaf, it looks nice. And I just noticed there's a bud in there, so if it doesn't blast, I'll have a successful rebloom on this guy, so that's very exciting. So this is my Doricentrum Pulcherrimin. It hasn't been doing super great. I don't know if you can tell, but the color of the leaves seems to be getting paler, and I've actually lost a leaf at the bottom here. I wonder if it's too much light. You can see some spotting here. Yeah, that's a bit of a concern. So a quick update on my Flask. Seems to be doing pretty okay. You can notice on that leaf there, it's a little bit brown, has brown spots, but overall it seems to be fine. And you can see that on some of the plants there are even new growths on them, so that's pretty cool. So this is my Ionocidum cross, and the two new growths are getting bigger. I wasn't sure at what point I should start watering it because there are two there, so I've been watering it now based on the larger growth. This is my Bulbophyllum fascinator, and it has a new growth on that little one over there. So this is my Gongora Giba, and its new growth or latest growth is doing pretty well so far. So this is my Stanhopea gibosa. I've removed a lot of the desiccated bulbs. They were pretty useless and they would get moldy, so I decided to get rid of them. And there is a new growth. This is my Coryanthes missacii, and the two latest growths are doing pretty well. This one has an accordion leaf, but otherwise it's fine. My Phalaenopsis fimbriata, the bloom finally died and it has a new leaf. So this is my Dendrobium Ilham, and unfortunately this pseudobulb is starting to deplete. You can see it's starting to turn yellow. So that has me a little bit worried. This guy hasn't pushed out any more new roots, so I'm not sure what to think about it. If I can find another one, I will probably purchase another one just as a backup. I really like this plant. It has really nice flowers. It's probably my favorite one in my collection, so I definitely want this one to live. So this is my Sophronitis cernua. It's pushing out new roots, but I am having trouble keeping this hydrated. You can see the pseudobulbs are very wrinkled. And like I was saying with my Chisis levis, I'm making more of an effort to water this in the morning, especially since it's so hot now. And I've been soaking this now instead of just spraying it. And this is my Aerangis punctata. It's starting to push out a bud, so that's good. I feel like it's right on schedule if I look at my notes from last year, so this should bloom around October. Last but not least, this is my Polycygnus barbata, and it has a new growth right there at the base of this desiccated growth, so that's a good sign. Things are happening. Okay, so that's my video today. Relatively short video, but some important updates. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!